Lucas and his wife Mariana lived a peaceful life with their two children, Anna, 6 years old, and Caio, 3. Anna was a creative, energetic girl passionate about drawing. To encourage this passion, her parents always made sure she had all the necessary art supplies to explore her imagination. Anna's backpack was filled with colored pencils, markers, crayons, and colored paper. Her room was cluttered with drawings, and each one reflected the world of a 6-year-old child, landscapes, animals, and portraits of her family. However, one day, Lucas found something different while organizing things in Anna's room. Amidst piles of drawings, there was one in particular that caught his attention. The paper showed Anna holding hands with a woman he didn't recognize. The figure looked nothing like Mariana, who was blonde with short hair. The woman in the drawing had long brown hair. Initially, Lucas thought it was just a product of his daughter's imagination, but he decided to ask Anna who the person depicted was. With the typical innocence of her age, Anna answered, "It's Sophia. She visits me sometimes." The answer left Lucas intrigued. He asked more about Sophia, but Anna didn't provide many details, only saying that Sophia would come to talk with her and accompany her while she drew. Thinking it might just be an imaginary friend, Lucas showed the drawing to Mariana. When he asked if the woman could be someone they knew, Mariana initially dismissed the possibility. However, when she heard the name Sophia, her expression changed. "Sophia was my sister," Mariana revealed with a trembling voice. "She died many years before Anna was born." The discovery left the couple uneasy. Sophia had tragically died in a car accident, and no pictures of her were displayed in the house. Additionally, Mariana rarely spoke about her sister. Could it be that Anna was describing someone she had never met? Determined to understand what was happening, Lucas and Mariana started to pay closer attention to Anna's habits. They asked when Sophia appeared, and the girl responded, "She comes at night when I'm drawing." Mariana asked that, the next time she saw Sophia, Anna make a new drawing with more details. Anna agreed happily, unaware of her parents' growing apprehension. In the following days, Lucas and Mariana began leaving Anna's bedroom door slightly open to listen for possible conversations. A few days later, while having dinner in the kitchen, they heard Anna talking to herself. They silently approached and listened from outside the room. Although there were long pauses between sentences, it was clear that Anna was responding to someone. At one point, they heard Anna say, "They liked the drawing I did of you. They want me to do another one." Mariana and Lucas entered the room and asked Anna who she was talking to, and she responded, "With Sophia. She's right there." Anna pointed to an empty corner of the room. Her parents saw nothing, but both felt a chill run down their spines. Mariana calmly asked Anna to draw Sophia again, with as many details as she could remember. That same night, Anna called her parents to show them the new drawing. It was even more detailed than the first. Sophia was depicted with bright blue eyes, a small mole above her lip, and wearing a white dress. Mariana was in shock. Those were exactly the features of her sister on the day of her funeral. She had been buried in a white dress, and the physical traits matched perfectly. Mariana had never shared these details with Anna, and there were no photos or visible references in the house that could explain how the girl knew this. The couple tried to rationalize the situation, but the discomfort was inevitable. "We don't want you talking to Sophia anymore, dear," said Mariana to their daughter. Anna was confused but obeyed. To bring peace to the family, the couple decided to call a priest to bless the house and ask that any spirit present leave in peace. After the blessing, things returned to normal. Anna no longer mentioned Sophia, and the conversations in the room ceased. Lucas and Mariana chose not to dwell on the subject further, but the story of that drawing continued to haunt them. Was it really a spirit trying to communicate, or just the vivid imagination of a child? Though they never obtained clear answers, the incident marked the couple's lives, reminding them that the inexplicable can sometimes arise in the most innocent moments. This story was shared by an art teacher from an elementary school who conducts a special activity twice a year called Draw and Tell. During this activity, students are encouraged to draw something that holds significant meaning to them and then share the story behind their creation. Typically, the themes are cheerful and everyday, such as families, friends, or pets. However, in one of these sessions with a third-grade class, an unexpected episode occurred, profoundly impacting the teacher. The classroom was busy, with the children focused on their drawings. While some were drawing happy scenes with their pets or family moments, a student, whom we will call João, seemed to be on a very different path. He was focused on a drawing that, at first glance, appeared to be just fire. Joanne's behavior began to attract attention, not only because of the unusual choice, but also because of the nervous laughter of some children sitting at the same table. The teacher, concerned that the boy was being mocked, approached and gently asked, "Joanne, why are you drawing fire? The goal is to create something that is important to you." Without looking up from the paper, he calmly replied, "I know, but I'm not finished yet." Thinking that the drawing might have a deeper meaning that she did not yet understand, the teacher decided to let him finish and continued to walk around the room, encouraging the other students. When most of the children had finished their drawings, the teacher returned to check Joanne's progress. It was then that she noticed he had added a house to the flames. Intrigued and uncomfortable with the choice of such an unusual theme, the teacher asked Joanne to accompany her to the hallway to talk. She held the drawing in her hands, trying to understand the reason behind the scene. In the hallway, with a careful voice, she asked, "Joanne, why did you draw a house on fire? This seems a little strange for this activity." Without hesitation, he responded with a naturalness that sent chills down the teacher's spine. "Because this is the house my parents tried to burn with me inside." The teacher froze, unable to react for a few seconds. Joanne's words echoed in her mind, and she struggled to maintain composure. She knew she needed to handle the situation very carefully, but in that moment, she couldn't find the right words. Still in shock, the teacher asked Joanne to return to his seat in silence. She looked at the drawing once more, feeling the weight of what she had just heard. She realized that the situation required a sensitive approach, and that the draw-and-tell activity could not continue as planned. After all, it was clear that sharing that drawing and its story could expose Joanne to uncomfortable or even harmful situations in front of his peers. Taking a deep breath, the teacher returned to the classroom and announced, "Today, instead of sharing the stories behind the drawings, you can take your creations home and show them to your families." The children reacted with enthusiasm, unaware of the reason behind the change of plans, but the teacher knew she had to act. As soon as the class ended, she took Joanne's drawing to the school principal and reported the conversation they had in the hallway. It was a serious matter that needed to be investigated and addressed urgently. This episode deeply marked the teacher. For years, she wondered what had happened to João and his family after that day. The seemingly simple drawing revealed a dark piece of the boy's life, a trauma that he might have been trying to process in a way that only paper and pencils could provide. Although the teacher was not able to resolve the situation directly, she believed that by bringing the case to the school administration, she had taken an important step in ensuring João received the necessary support. This story was shared by a father who preferred to keep his identity confidential to preserve anonymity. We will use fictitious names. Raphael and Julia are the parents of Clara, a 5-year-old girl described as calm, obedient, and very affectionate. Her tranquil personality made what was about to happen even more inexplicable. Clara slept in a room next to her parents, and everything seemed normal until one night when she appeared at the door of Raphael and Julia's room, visibly frightened. She said in a trembling voice, "There's something in my closet. I'm scared." Trying to calm her, Raphael took her back to her room. He opened the closet to show that there was nothing inside, checking every corner to ensure Clara felt safe. After convincing her that everything was fine, he put her back in bed and turned off the lights. However, the next night, the same scene repeated itself. This time, Clara insisted even more, claiming there was a monster in the closet. Concerned about their daughter's emotional state, Raphael and Julia decided to let her sleep with them that night. The next day, Clara surprised her parents by drawing what she said was the monster in the closet. When she showed the drawing to Raphael, he felt uneasy. The creature depicted had strange features, huge eyes, long hands, and sharp claws. Even so, he tried to rationalize, assuming it was just the product of a creative child's imagination. A few nights later, Raphael and Julia were awakened by Clara's screams coming from her room. When they arrived running, they found their daughter crying hysterically, with tears streaming down her face. Clara lifted her shirt and showed 2 red scratches on her back. When they asked what had happened, Clara replied with conviction, "It was the monster. He scratched me." Alarmed, Raphael searched the room for any signs of intrusion or something that could have caused the scratches. He checked the windows, doors, and even the closet that Clara so feared, but found nothing. The house was completely locked, with no plausible explanations. Raphael and Julia began to consider that Clara might have done it to herself, either intentionally or accidentally, while sleeping. Despite trying to dismiss the events as coincidence or a child's imagination, the unsettling occurrences continued to weigh on the couple. To help Clara feel safer, they decided to move her furniture into the guest room, turning it into her new sleeping space. The transition seemed to help, but Clara still appeared in her parents' room on a few nights afterward. When asked if she had seen the monster again, she replied, "No, I'm just scared." Although no scratches or other physical incidents happened again, the couple could not shake the feeling that something was wrong. Raphael spent sleepless nights mentally reviewing the events, trying to find a logical explanation for everything. Julia started researching common fears in children and imaginary friends, trying to understand if Clara's accounts could be the result of her fertile imagination. Raphael, on the other hand, couldn't ignore the scratches. They had never seen Clara invent stories or harm herself before. As time passed, the intensity of the fear lessened, but the unexplained scratches and the drawing of the creature continued to haunt Raphael and Julia's memory. This story was shared by Letitia, who discovered something disturbing while in her room. She always allowed her younger brother Lucas to use her desk to draw when he wanted to entertain himself. Lucas's usual behavior was to take all his drawings to his room and hide them, which made what happened even stranger. One day, Letitia found a drawing on the desk in her room that seemed to have been left there intentionally, as if Lucas wanted her to see it. At first glance, it seemed like an innocent illustration of a family, something typical of a 7-year-old child. But upon closer inspection, Letitia noticed a mysterious figure hidden in the corner of the paper. It was a shadowy and vague figure with the caption, "The Man Who Takes." Curious, Letitia decided to leave the drawing on the desk for a few days, occasionally looking at it. She thought it might just be part of Lucas's imagination, without any greater meaning. But as the days went by, the figure bothered her more and more. One night, after a long day, Letitia went to bed trying to push away the strangeness the drawing caused her. However, the next morning, Lucas appeared in her room holding an empty glass. He asked her to fill it with chocolate milk, something he always liked. Letitia went downstairs to prepare the drink, but when she returned, she found Lucas deeply asleep. She woke him up and gave him the glass, but to her surprise, he insisted he hadn't asked for anything. Knowing that he had made the request the previous night, Letitia was confused but didn't want to press the issue. She left the glass by his bed and walked away. That same night, around 4 a.m., Letitia woke up to the sound of Lucas talking. Confused and with a feeling that something was wrong, she got up and went to his room. She peeked through the door, and what she saw left her frozen with fear. Lucas was talking to something or someone, and there was a dark shadow in the room that seemed to move. The last thing Letitia remembered was hearing Lucas talking, followed by the shadow. She couldn't move or react before being overwhelmed by a deep sense of exhaustion. When she woke up the next morning, she was back in her own bed, not knowing how she had gotten there. She tried to talk to Lucas about what had happened, but he denied talking to anyone the previous night. Her brother seemed completely unaware of what had happened, uncomfortable with the situation, and with the sense that something truly strange was happening. Letitia decided to tell her parents about the drawing and what she thought she had witnessed. Her parents, worried, decided to talk to Lucas. With a calm and serious expression, Lucas explained the meaning of the drawing. He said that the man who takes was his friend, and that he made regular visits. According to Lucas, the man who takes was responsible for taking things and bringing them back. He even said, "I trust him. He's my best friend. He gives me red fruits, I think they're cranberries. And he won't come back." Those words left Letitia and her parents completely perplexed. How could a 7-year-old child have such an imagination? But the most unsettling part was the presence of the man who takes in Lucas's conversations and the figure in the drawing, which seemed so real to him. Still unsure of what to think, Letitia couldn't ignore the details in the drawing. Besides the figure of the man who takes, there was something else that caught her attention. He was on a swing. This was odd, as the family never had a swing at home and Lucas had never shown interest in one. Letitia began to wonder if it was just a creation of Lucas's mind or something much stranger. Next to the figure of the man who takes, there was an undefined shape that looked like a door or window, as if the man was coming out of somewhere underground. Intrigued, Letitia went to the garden to look for anything that might correspond to it, but found nothing. The mystery only deepened a few days later, when Letitia was in the bathroom next to Lucas's room. While getting ready, she heard Lucas laughing and talking. When she came out of the bathroom, she went to his room. The door was slightly open and she peeked inside. She saw her brother sitting on the floor looking down, seemingly talking to something under the bed. Letitia quickly opened the door, causing Lucas to suddenly stand up and return to his bed as if nothing had happened. He looked at the TV, and when Leticia asked who he was talking to, he simply replied, "I wasn't talking to anyone." Lucas's behavior left Leticia even more disturbed. She didn't know what to believe anymore. What had she seen? What was Lucas really experiencing? He seemed so calm, as if nothing strange was happening. But for Leticia, reality was becoming increasingly distorted. Although Lucas never mentioned the man who takes again, Leticia couldn't stop thinking about the events that had occurred, the shadowy figure in the drawing, the mysterious conversations in Lucas's room, and the feeling of being watched never left her. She wondered if it was all just a construction of her own mind, or if something far more sinister was unfolding right before her eyes. The doubt persists to this day, and Leticia isn't sure if the shadows she saw were real or just a product of her perception. They say that children are very sensitive when it comes to sensing things beyond our understanding. Tell me, which story did you like the most? And do you know any stories involving children? Don't forget to like, and I'll see you in the next video, if you're brave enough to come back.